Hello and welcome, guys. No vlog today, but I do have an information video for you. I know a lot of guys consider going to the oil field, doing the oil business, whether it be in Texas, North Dakota, Oklahoma, whatever. I know when I went a couple years ago, there was quite a lack of information, and I know it's been a couple years, but there's also been another fall of oil. When I went, it was about $110 a gallon, then it dropped down to $25 a gallon. Now it's climbing again. So interest in the oil field might be raising again soon. So I thought I'd put together a little video of things that I experienced and things that I would do and avoid if you're going to decide to go and work in the oil industry. Now there's obviously Texas oil fields, Oklahoma, North Dakota, but the biggest two are obviously Texas and North Dakota. I worked personally in North Dakota. They pay a little bit more than Texas, obviously, because it's less appealing. Their winters are a little bit harsher and it's less appealing, so they have to pay more to get people up there. But there's tons of jobs you can do. Anything from stocking shelves at Walmart up to being like a company man on an actual derrick rig. I'm not going to go over every job, but where I was in North Dakota, people stocking shelves at Walmart were making $21 an hour. So you can kind of use that as a gauge to see what kind of the skilled laborers in the oil field were making, but generally it's between $10,000 to $20,000 a month. Now, there's a lot of good things about the oil field, and then there's a lot of bad things. And what you have to watch out for is obviously, like, there's companies that are established, big companies, and then there's kind of fly-by-night contractors. Now, a couple of the myths are, one, you have to be in North Dakota to get a job. Absolutely not. I applied, I went through everything in Las Vegas, and only went out to North Dakota when I had a guaranteed job. You can do the same if you have the skills to back up your resume, or if you have the skills that are required for that job. There's no reason for you to be there. You'll go up there, you'll take the drug test, you'll sit for, you know, a day in the company house while they verify your drug test. Don't go if you're on drugs, they won't hire you. Don't waste your time, don't waste their time. Once you pass the drug test, they put you to work. Depending on what you're doing, you want to make sure that you go with a company that has housing available. I know guys who are splitting a studio apartment, or basically a room, with 2 sets of bunk beds, 4 guys in a studio, and they're still paying like $800 a month each. You need to make sure that you go with a reputable company that has a housing situation in place for you at a man camp, or you're still going to be sharing a house because, you know, you're just not going to get your own place. But it's better to do that than, you know, be living in a truck or living in a tent or living in your truck. A lot of guys pull their RVs up there and plan to live in that. You can do that, but again, remember, a monthly RV space in a smaller town might be $200 a month. In North Dakota, you're going to be paying close to $700 or $800. Also, if your RV is not winterized, you know, that's going to be a problem for you for probably 5 months out of the year. There's also the issue of laundry. If you don't have laundry services, again, you can't rely on anybody to do anything for you. These are the things that you need to figure out before you leave. I've seen a lot of guys move their whole family up there with no plan, and the thing is like, oil companies book out the whole hotel. So even like when I was traveling for work, my company would still have to pay about $250 a night for a hotel for me, because that's just what the prices command. That doesn't matter if it's a Super 8 or, you know, a Ramada or whatever, Holiday Inn. There's still $200-300 a night, because that's what the market commands. So again, just kind of going up and thinking, oh, I can get a cheap motel for $40. No, you cannot. One of the other things is every decent company will pay you either hourly or by piecework. You want to make sure that you get paid hourly. Any reputable company is going to be paying you hourly. The type of companies that pay you in piecework are obviously contractors, and again, like I said, I would stay away from contractors just because there's no guarantee. Obviously, when you work for the company that is drilling or exploring or whatever they're doing, a big one like Halliburton, Schlumberger, you know, any of those big nationwide companies, you know, they're going to keep their people working the most. And if you're on a crew or you're a driver or whatever you're doing, what you have to realize is, if you're working for an outside carrier, if anything slows down, those outside carriers get cut first. Also, you know, if you're an outside contractor working with Halliburton, you know, those Halliburton guys may be getting $400 or $500 a day, and that's what Halliburton is paying for you to be there. but the third-party contractor that you're working for has to make his cut, so you may only be making $200 or $300 a day for the same work that you're really deserving much more. So again, being with a reputable company almost is the most important part, and doing your research is highly important. But you know, there are a lot of rumors out there, and there are a lot of things that people don't realize. Yeah, you make a lot of money, but you also have to spend a lot of money because Walmart's paying $21 an hour, because all these things are going on. You have to realize that the cost of doing business is higher for everybody, so the prices are going to be higher. For instance, when I lived in North Dakota, we ran from a town called Newtown. It's right in the middle where the Big Bear Casino is, and the local gas station also had a restaurant attached to it. And because of the price of their labor, they would have to pay, you know, they were selling, like for instance, they were selling slices of pizza for like $4, $5 a slice. Obviously, you guys in town know that you can usually get a whole pizza for $5 or $10, not a slice. So again, you know, yeah, you're making good money. You also have to account that you're gonna have to spend more money. A lot of companies obviously provide you with clothes, because all rigs require fire retardant clothing. When I started, my company gave me a blank check for $1,000 to go down to the local store and buy all the fire retardant clothing I need. Again, if you don't go with a reputable company, that's going to be an expense that comes out of your pocket as well for no reason. So the moral of the story so far is, obviously, if you go with a reputable company, your experience is going to be far, far better than if you don't. One of the other things, young guys get out there and they feel invincible, and they feel like they're making all this money. I'm buying a brand new truck, I'm buying this, I'm buying that. You're not invincible, and you have to remember, in the middle of North Dakota, an ambulance or a life flight could be 5 hours away. So if you lose a finger doing something stupid, you lose a hand, you lose an arm, you lose a leg, or your life doing something stupid, you have to remember that it's not like you can call 911 and in 10 minutes the ambulance be there. Okay, I've seen a lot of guys take risks unnecessarily, and you have to remember, yes, you're getting paid a lot of money, but it's still only oil. And if you want to lose a hand or an arm for an oil company's profit line, you're stupid. So keep that in mind. There's no reason taking risks unnecessarily for an oil company's bottom line. They're not going to fire you unless you're a complete idiot. And if you're a complete idiot, you don't have to worry about losing your arm anyway, because they're going to get rid of you. Okay, but if they're keeping you, you know, it is what it is. That brings me to my next point. You need to have enough money to get home at any point. I've seen a lot of guys make a bunch of money, but they also know how to spend a bunch of money. And then when they get laid off, they don't even have $200, $300 to get home. So they end up staying there, doing crime, doing drugs, and you know, stealing metal, whatever crime. You know, crime is prevalent in North Dakota because of just how the industry is. So one thing you have to remember is, keep that nest egg. If you're gonna be the guy who spends a bunch of money, keep that nest egg to make sure that you can always get yourself home. When I was considering going overseas as a contractor, the company suggested that you actually had $10,000 in case anything happened. You could get yourself back to the United States, but obviously being in North Dakota, a couple $100 should suffice. You know, worst case scenario, you can get a Greyhound bus back to wherever your family is. One of the other things, and one of the biggest mistakes, the #1 biggest mistake that I see a lot of the younger guys, and actually guys of all ages in the oil field make, is falling into that whole like taking care of my girl back home mentality. I've seen guys at the airport picking up their wives and girlfriends or whatever with Gucci bags, Louis Vuitton, you know, just icy diamond watches, diamond rings, all kind of stupid stuff. They think, oh, I'm making $10,000, $15,000 a month, I'm gonna spoil this girl to death. But I hate to break it to you, man, unless you have a solid one back home, they ain't waiting 2 or 3 months for you at a time. They're taking your money and they're running. And I don't say that to disrespect any women out there. I know a lot of you guys watching have great wives and great families, but there's always the bad ones. There's always the bad ones that'll take your money while you're away. And as soon as you lose that job, as soon as you lose that income, you know, you're finished. So, you know, that's probably the most real heart-to-heart, that's probably the real most heart-to-heart information I can give you right there, is just be smart. Be smart with the money you're making. You're there to make money, you're there to work hard, you're not there to make friends, you're not there to get married. You know, don't get the tattoos, the $2,000 tattoos for a little tiny piece. You know, don't get the brand new trucks, don't get all that stuff, man. Just save your money, take it home, and do something smart with it. Smart to start a business, start something. You know, pay off your loans, don't get more loans. Let's go over some of the bad stuff about the oil field. You're gonna be working your ass off. A typical oil field shift is 6 12-hour shifts a week with 1 day off. That's 72 hours a week. And again, that goes back to why you wanna be paid hourly, because obviously then you'll be looking at 32 hours of overtime versus your contracted day rate. I'm a big proponent of overtime. I love getting overtime. So, you know, when somebody says, hey, 72 hours minimum, I know that if I'm being paid hourly, you know, obviously anything over 40 hours is gonna be overtime. The other thing is, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do, and it's not like a big city where there's internet available everywhere. So expect, you know, other than your cell phone, expect to be kind of without internet for quite some time, unless, you know, your company provides it, which most don't. Most people give you basic housing with, you know, power, water, electricity, stuff like that. And laundry facilities, they don't always usually provide you with internet. So some of the guys I work with did buy internet service. If they had a 4-man house, you know, they would all chip in. But again, that's not a given. You know, you'll be watching the same DVDs regularly. You'll be watching the same stuff over and over again. You know, what I did is I loaded up my computer with movies and stuff before I went. But even so, that gets pretty old pretty quick depending on how long you stay. You know, a lot of guys did consider buying like the Fire Stick or the Kodi thing or whatever, but again, without internet, that doesn't work. So it is boring, and a lot of guys get themselves into trouble with that downtime. They go to drugs, they go to girls, whatever it is. So again, just remember what you're there, be mentally headstrong, do what you need to do, and enjoy it. I suggest every young guy does it. It's a great way to get started. It's a great way to buy a house. It's a great way to pay off student loans. It's whatever your goal is. It's a great way to make a bunch of money without a lot of skills, if you know, in perpetuity. So, you know, I would consider it if I was a younger guy, you know, wanting to get ahead in life. If you're wanting to move out of your parents' place, whatever you're wanting to do, it's a great way to get started. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Happy to answer them. If you don't, hit me up on Instagram, send me a direct message if you want to be private. As always, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, merch in bio. Goodbye.